Hello, this is Cynthia, Mountain Accents. Today I am bringing you my thoughts about my sewing and about having a YouTube channel. I've celebrated 1 year on YouTube, and I'm also going to share my hashtag 5 handmade essentials. I was tagged by Izzy at Dizzy Quilts and Sews to share my 5 handmade essentials, and this hashtag was started by Sarah at Naughty Gnome Crafts. Thank you, Sarah. So I want to talk a little bit about why I decided I wanted to learn how to sew, because when I was younger and my mom wanted to show me how to use a sewing machine, I just flat out refused. I had no interest in it, and it wasn't until 5 or 10 years ago that I started thinking that I wished I knew how to sew, because I was having trouble finding dresses at the local clothing stores. And I live in a rural area, and there's not a lot of shopping centers to me. There are some, not many, but 1 or 2 places I could go to look for clothes that's like within a 20-minute drive, but most places was like an hour drive or further away. And it wasn't until I think, I can't remember for sure, 2017, 2018, I bought a cheap sewing machine and decided that I would practice learning, just sewing and learning how to use the sewing machine. And most of what I made were fails or like non-garment items, just so that I would become accustomed to how to use a sewing machine. And so I don't have a lot of homemade clothes in my wardrobe yet. And so coming up with the 5 essential items was kind of a difficult challenge, and I did not participate in Me May for that same reason. I just don't have that many handmade garments. So yeah, the things that I'm going to talk about the 5 essential items, and then I'll get back to my thoughts about sewing and about my year on YouTube. So when Izzy challenged me for this challenge, I started thinking about the things that I wear, things that I do have in my wardrobe. And the items that you're looking for is like your essential top, essential bottom, essential one piece, a layering piece, and a wall card. And so for essential top, it was difficult because I have different types of tops for like the different seasons. And like today I'm wearing a woven top, and it's 85 degrees again today, and I'm too hot in this already. I've just finished doing some housework and took a shower and was getting dressed to be able to go out and do something later, and I'm already too hot, so I'm gonna have to find something else to wear. But this is the Atelier Jupe Olivia blouse, and I love it because you can dress it up or dress it down. Right now I just have it on with a pair of jeans shorts, and so I really like this top. But for my essential top, I chose one of my favorite patterns that is for knits, and it is Sew House 7 toaster sweater. And when cool weather is here in the wintertime, this is the top that I reach for the most. If I'm popping out to town or whatever, I like to put on my toaster sweater. I've made several, but I have a favorite, and I will insert a picture of me wearing my favorite toaster sweater. And I've only made this version here. I have not even tried this version, and it is an all-time favorite. And then for my essential bottom, And the other thing I was going to mention before I show you my essential bottom is prior to COVID, prior to 2021 actually, I work in a doctor's office, but I worked in a doctor's office and I'm in the front office part, clerical part. I could wear business casual, and dress up more. And unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends on how you look at it, in 2021 my doctors went to a different hospital system, and I followed them. But their policy is that everyone wears scrubs, so that's our uniform. And it's great when you're in a hurry and you're trying to get out the door of a morning that you just grab your scrubs, throw them on and out the door, but I do miss dressing up. So I do not have a lot of me-made dressier items, and that is something that I have discovered that I still like to have more of, like this top that I'm wearing that I could wear out to town or out to dinner. I still like to have some dressier tops because most of what I've made is a little bit more casual. But my essential bottom that I have chosen out of the pants and shorts I have made is the True Bias Slender pants. And as you'll see, it comes in shorts, and I guess that would be like a cropped length and then a full length. And I have only ever made the shorts and the full length. And I have made several pairs of shorts, but only one pair of the pants. And I'd actually want to have more shorts and more pants. And that is in my plans for this year. I wouldn't mind having more than one made. But I just love a button-up pants. I have made other pants before, but this is my all-time favorite, and it's the True Bias Slender pants. Okay, so my essential one piece, I'm going to go with a dress because it is what like got me into sewing. The desire to learn how to sew is where I needed more dresses. I do attend church, and I like to wear dresses to church, and that is something that even now I have, I think, a shortage of dresses that fit me in my wardrobe, that's in materials I like, styles that I like, fabric that I like. And I have two favorites, and I couldn't choose, so I'm going to tell you about both of them, and I will insert a photo of the first one. It's the Atelier Jupe Tilde shirt dress. I've made it a couple times, and I love it. And the other one is the Wilder gown by Friday Pattern Company, and I have made, well, let's see, it comes in a top, short dress, and a long dress. I have made the blouse, short sleeve blouse, a couple of times. I've made a long sleeve blouse. I've made the shorter dress, and I'm wanting to make longer dress. And the only reason I have it is that I just didn't have enough fabric, like a fabric that was a long enough piece. That is one of the things that I'm learning, that now that I've been sewing longer, is that when I purchase fabric, and if I'm thinking about making a dress, I need to have at least 3 meters, 2.5, 3 meters or more. Like this dress, I have made the short length out of a 2.5 meter piece, but to get this full length, I'm thinking I will need at least 3 or 3.5 meters, probably 3.5 meters. And I know I'm in the U.S., but because I do purchase a lot of fabric online from overseas, I tend to think of fabric in meters instead of yards. But I measure myself in inches instead of centimeters. And I sew, like, I prefer to sew by like inches instead of centimeters. So anyway, this is the Friday Pattern Wilder gown, and it is my all-time favorite dress pattern. Okay, for my outerwear, so I didn't have but one option because I've only made one outerwear garment. And so I'm going to call it my essential outerwear garment since it's the first one that I've ever made. And I do like it a lot. And it is the Mimi G style. Simplicity. Let's see what the number is. S8845. S8845 unisex jean jacket. And it pairs very nicely with the water gown, and it is pairs nicely with some of my other dresses, and even like over shirts and things. I've not really wore it out, except for I've wore it over dresses so far, because I just made it a few months ago. So yeah, that's my essential outerwear. And for my wild card, I'm going to pick another one piece, and it is the Ready to Sew Patsy Dungarees. And they are the first pair of dungarees I've ever made, but I absolutely love them. And I just made them in an inexpensive, it was poly cotton fabric, and yeah, it is, I'll insert a picture of it because I don't have you know, a cover, but it is simple. Has like a channel here and a channel at the back, and you have like a drawstring that goes all the way through and ties on. It ties on this side. Yeah, and it looks great over a pair of like just a little t-shirt and wears it with sandals, and they're slightly cropped and they're just loose and they're so comfortable. And I like wearing them out to town or at home or like to a picnic, and they're just super comfy and something that I want to make more of. That I haven't made them yet, but I do want a pair in linen. I love wearing linen this time of year, I've discovered. I didn't know I liked linen so much until I started sewing with linen. So yeah, that is my 5 handmade essentials. So let me talk a little bit more about my sewing journey and what my thoughts are about having a sewing channel. Okay, so I mentioned that what got me into sewing is my desire to make more dresses, or to have more dresses in my wardrobe, dresses that were in styles that I liked, fabric that I liked. And yeah, I just couldn't find anything in the local shops. And if I found dresses, they were not a style that I liked. And I am getting older, so a lot of the clothing that I found in the store was geared towards younger people, and or they had high polyester content, or just, you know, cheaper quality, and just yeah. And that's the thing now. I still buy some things from the stores, but something that I didn't do in the past that I do now is that I look at the seams and I look at how it's constructed, and I've discovered that a lot of things that I see in the store are not as well made as the items that I hand make. They sometimes really skimp on just barely catching the seams, and you wash the item and then it starts coming apart, and you have to go back in and you repair it yourself. It's just like the quality is just not in the clothing industry like it used to be. And I think that's part of that fast fashion that companies got, where they just want to make more, faster, and like sell it higher price but cheaper quality. Yeah. So that is what has prompted me into sewing. And then I want to talk a little bit about my fabric choices. So I was a little discouraged when I first started sewing, because to get to the closest fabric store to me that carries any dressmaking fabric is about 45 minutes away, like Hobby Lobby, and then the closest Joann's is over an hour away. So there was just not a lot of choices for buying fabric. And that is one of the reasons that I became such a huge fan of Andrea of Beyond the Pink Door. Excuse the neighbor, I think I hear them on the lawnmower, but they should be hopefully out of the way shortly and won't be too loud. But anyway, I was following her sew-alongs and some of her other sewing content on YouTube when she decided to open her fabric shop, and just opened my eyes to a new world of fabric. And when I started seeing the quality and the pretty fabrics that she had, I'm like, well, I'm going to try it. I was nervous about buying it, but by her hosting the lives and I was able to see her hold it up, I thought, I'm going to give it a chance. And she's just one of those people that you can trust. She comes across that way, that if you were to meet her in person, she'd be the same. Like, she strikes me as being the same no matter where you're at, and that's something that I admire in someone. It's someone that they're always the same regardless of where you see them at. And so I decided to take a chance on her and order fabric from her shop, and fell in love with the fabric. Now, since that time, I have discovered some other online companies that are in the United States that I purchase fabric from. And so I've purchased fabric from the Sewing Studio in Oregon. I've got fabric from Hart's Fabric. I believe they're based out of California. And Stylemaker Fabrics. And there's 2 or 3 others that I've ordered, like an odd piece of fabric here and there from. But those are the ones that I've purchased from the most. And there's another neighbor coming in, so I may have to pause just for a moment. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so I found that by buying better quality fabrics that my desire to sew increased, and by watching other YouTubers and joining this YouTubing vlogging community, I wanted to embrace the sewing community and be bigger part of it. And it also kind of held me accountable to try to up my standard of the work that I do, to put in a little effort into really learning how to do it correctly. I've still got a lot to learn, but I feel like in my short sewing journey that I have come a long ways. And so in that respect, it has really helped me. Now, one of the downsides of watching other YouTubers and watching the online fabric, like Andrea showing her fabric, is that you want to spend more money. I know I do. I want to buy more fabric. I don't have room for a big stash. I do have a small stash now, and I'm accumulating more because I do get the monthly subscription box. And I need to start getting better at sewing it up as it comes in, or not holding it too long, which I do have last month's fabric and fabric from 2 months ago are washed today and hanging up out here on the porch to dry. So hopefully it'll get dry and I can get sewing on that soon. But yeah, it's like I don't want to build up a big stash. I want to sew what I've got, but I do, like a lot of other people, it makes me, when I see other people's fabric hauls or see other sewing items, I'm like, and I want it, or sewing patterns, you get that little bit of a FOMO, of fear of missing out, you want it. And so I feel like I sometimes spend more money than I should on it, but it's my money, I'm earning it, I'm working for it, so I want to spend it on something that I enjoy. And sewing is, I have found that is something that I really enjoy. The other, I guess, downside of having a YouTube channel is that sometimes I feel pressured to sew more, get things done, and I don't always have the time. My job, I feel like, is very demanding. The healthcare industry has changed a lot, especially since COVID. it seems more stressful. And so a lot of days I just come home and I just don't have the headspace to, or my eyes are tired or my brain's tired. I just don't feel like thinking about sewing, or I'm afraid that if I do sew that I'll make a mistake. So I tend to sew more on the weekends, or if I take a day off, you know, and then sometimes life just gets in the way. But so yeah, I have that. I sometimes feel that pressure, and then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just give it up and not do it because I got to do this for it to be fun, not for the pressure. But at the same time, I feel like following other YouTubers has been a big help to me, and I hope that I'm a help to someone else, and that they will realize that they're never too old or too young to learn how to sew. That I wish I'd started when I was younger, or for that matter, you're never too old to learn any new hobby. It doesn't have to be sewing. It can be something else. That challenge yourself, do something different. And that's why I feel like with this, it's been challenging for me. I'm an introvert. I'm extremely shy, and that's the other thing I grapple with some days is like, I'm like, I feel like I don't have always the privacy that I want, and then I'm thinking, well, finding that balance between sharing too much or sharing too little. But for the most part, hosting this has pushed me to try new things, to try patterns that I necessarily wouldn't have tried if I hadn't started the YouTube channel. I might have gotten stuck in more of a rut, or kept my focus too narrow. And with this, with the channel, I keep thinking about trying new things, and I hope that eventually I'll get to where I will, when I find a pattern that I like, that I will remake it to get my money's worth out of it. But I really, once I finish a garment, most of the time I am ready to move on to a different project to keep from getting bored or frustrated, because the newness of a new project, I think, helps me relax. Yeah, because I find that the mental aspect of sewing is one of the things that I like about it, but also it allows me to use a part of my creative brain that desires to be used. And if that makes sense to you, because I think of it more like artwork, that because you are, even though it may be someone else's pattern, you're selecting what fabric that you want to go with that pattern. Or if you, so far I haven't really hacked anything, but eventually maybe I will, that you get a little bit more of the design choice and fabric choice to make it unique to you. And so that's something that I am finding that I really like, is that artistic aspect of it. Okay, so I've rambled on enough, and I hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen. And before I go, I am going to tag 2 other people. I thought of some others, but I don't think these 2 people have done the hashtag 5 handmade essentials. So I'm going to tag Rachel at French Seams, and I'm going to tag Andra at Andra Makes. Now, if you've already done this and I just missed it, let me know below, but I will try to post links to all this below. And I hope everyone is having a great day and enjoy the sunshine, and yeah, have a wonderful day. Bye.